This conference will now be recorded.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is Wednesday, April 12th, 2023 at 5:30. We are calling this meeting to order. We are here at the village office with everybody. So it is very exciting. No one is meeting remotely, but we are recording it just in case anyone would like to. So let's go ahead and have a roll call. We'll start with just around the room here. We have Treasurer Sally Vance is here. Trustee Julia Rourke is here. Trustee Drew Pearson is here, and myself, Trustee Jeremy Graham, is also here. Any conflicts of interest? Hearing none, moving to number 5, public comment. There is no one here and no one has signed up. Moving on to number 6. Okay, we're halfway through. I would like to entertain a motion to approve the finance minutes from March 2nd. No, yes.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that is approved. Moving on to number 7, discussion items. First off is budget 2023. Sally, anything in general that you want to throw out for us here? Everything good to know?
No, everything seems to be going smoothly. The only inquiries I've had are, Nick asked me about possibly getting another police car this year outside of the SRO car, and we kind of talked about some things that they could do, but that's really the only thing that's come up.
Yeah, since you brought that up, since you talked to me after the board meeting, that had that conversation with you, so there's that 200,000 of ARPA funds that are just sitting there with no commitment to date, correct?
Correct.
And as we grow our police force, obviously, we're gonna need the vehicles. I know we talked about this early on, but we never really brought it up again, and I think it was because we were having so many problems getting police officers, we just kind of didn't think about it.
Mhm.
So I did ask Sergeant Half to come up with a schedule for me of who's working what shifts when, what the overlaps are, what the vehicles are, what, just kind of that vehicle squad inventory. I want to see what we have, who takes cars home. I need to understand the fleet and the flow of the what do I say, the hours, the shifts.
The
To see-
logistics.
Yeah, to see where we're at. Right now with people in training, obviously get doubled up in a car, so, but there are gonna be shift overlaps now, so we just have to understand what we need and what we can get and if the budget allows, so.
Well, and I told him, we could probably scrap together some money in the budget, but for transparency purposes, it makes a lot more sense to do a supplemental appropriation.
Yeah.
If we come to it, and then there's no funny business, it's a lot smoother. And now that I've done them pretty much once or twice a year for 3 or 4 years, it's no big deal, so.
I mean, what we can talk about more of that more when we get closer, but questions would be, because we just got the new one.
And that's
Last year.
SRO.
Well, no,
Well, that was a replacement.
or replacement, yes. And so where are they in the sinking fund? Where are they in the transition? But if we need to increase the fleet period, that was not accounted for.
Right, and our challenge is now we're getting all, because of the accident and the replacement and the SRO all in the same year, we're getting to a point where they're all gonna be needing to be upgraded at the same time too, so.
And if we can hobble along for a year or two just to separate them out.
Yeah,
it
right.
might be more better.
My thinking with that made it seem better for doing a lease program.
Yeah, I was
Because
thinking
they would
that
all
as
be the
well.
same age, and Nick said that most of the places he talked to weren't willing to do it for as few of cars as we have. And so I'm wondering if we could do some sort of co-op with Packard Durand or some other municipality that maybe has the same problem.
True, either that or as we had tried to do a few years ago, go entirely leasing. Or both public works and police, and or just police. But even still, you could go all of police here plus all of PEX police, some type of co-op.
There could, be
Yes.
like a police co-op and then
Yes.
further look at
Mhm.
public works, but yeah, to me, that was one of the things that seemed off with doing the lease, was that there was such a variance in the ages of the cars. But they're lining right up to be about the same age. So maybe we have a year or two to kind of work that out.
All right. We've talked about, well, I don't know if we've talked about it specifically, but your new formatting is very fun. Lots of pie charts and colors and seeing where everything's at and how it's all going. It's very nice and fluid, so that standard
Nobody
users can see
commented,
it.
other than me in an email to you.
Yes, and that's what I expected. It's either total outrage or nothing.
I'm sure a lot of them were like, oh, that's very nice.
So, yeah, I like it. I'm open to suggestions if it's not clear.
Well, yeah, I think we keep it as is, and as we're like, what'd really cool if we could see this as well. Or we could see the history of this month and a year ago this month. That's all we care about.
And that's what I was
Yes.
wondering if anyone would miss all that history.
I would, but I'm here, so I don't, but I'm the numbers geek.
But maybe we could either do, last month to this month or last year to this year. One of those to have something there to compare it to.
Well, absolutely.
Did you reduce, I'm just logging in because I can't remember, did you reduce the financial reports to just that one? The colorful chart thing, or did you had everything else in there too, right?
Everything else is in there. That was just the bank.
Instead of it being a table, horizontal table, it's now a pretty grand.
Right.
Yes, but all the other, the ledgers, what I'm gonna call it there, that's all in there.
So the balances and cash flow report is the colorful one, is what you're saying, right?
Correct.
Yes, cash balances and sinking.
funds.
And then there's another one called cash flow. And that's an older one that's been there forever. And that had a little more detail on it before, and I kind of took that out because I think it's just too much to look at. But that one has the fund balance percentage on there, which I ended up doing that for all the funds instead of just general, just so we could have a quick look at it. And we have some reserves there, quite a bit. So,
I've got opportunity hopefully with land to do some development and grow this place.
Mhm. And we get our strategic plan out there, what's going on, and we can move from there.
The what?
District.
You're gonna get out of it. You've heard about it for as long as you've been up.
Drew's just over there like coasting.
All right, so, next one is the letter B. Aging write-offs for the eye drop and the water bill delinquency.
There was.
I didn't think I saw one.
She gave it to us.
It was the next day.
Oh, you're right. I was just looking at that one, and then I had to go back and. Where did it go? There it is.
So I think it looks pretty good. I mean, we have the ones that we've seen on here over and over. The one at the very bottom is this house on the corner, next to B3 Salon there.
Okay.
And that has some boarded up windows.
Which one is that? Santiago?
Yeah. And,
Delinquent notice. Oh, this is what I wanted, yes.
So active means she's still turned on there? Or,
it says, water service was shut off, it says in the notes.
oh, I see.
And
I
I
think we
don't think,
decided, I thought we decided final was like they've moved and it's done. Active is, they're still living there, they're not getting water right
and I don't believe that she ever moved in. She purchased the home and she was having major renovations done. And I don't think she's ever lived there.
Hmm.
And then just stop the renovations, and so now it's just gonna sit there.
Yes. And, I have more information, but I don't think I should discuss it.
That's fine.
But yeah,
All right. I lost my agenda. We were on letter B, so we're moving on to letter C, which is something.
I'll tell you, big reconciliation review, February and March.
I was able to slip in March since we didn't have our meeting on
Yes.
time. So
Love the colors, it balanced out, it's very exciting.
I knew you would know what the colors meant.
Were you, with all the new help that we've had in here, you've obviously been able to stay on top of this and really do well. So that's been working.
Yes, very well. And Rachel, I've maybe said this before, but she is going to fully take over accounts payable.
Okay.
And I think that's the best, instead of having her do half of this and half of that, she's just starting out in her career, you know, so she'll have something that can be on her resume, doing accounts payable. And
And it's like her baby, right? Like that's her.
yes, I'm still got space in there because as things come up, she's got to learn those things
Yeah.
too. And at first, she was just getting really clean, neat work to enter in, and now all the ugly stuff is coming in.
Yeah.
But she's doing very well. And Rachel just seems to become an expert at whatever we give her. You know, she takes it on and does it, and does very well. So I don't know exactly what she's going to do for Kelly, or I thought it was payroll, which would also just be a brilliant way, I think, to create that position. Because then I think payroll is accounts payable too, in a way.
Yeah.
But I don't want to speak for Kelly. I don't know exactly her plan. Up to this point, it's been major projects. She's done all of them. Lots of reorg, sorting, filing, going through big file cabinets and creating a plan, you know. And I think she's also going to be scanning maps for Public Works.
Is she part-time?
Monday through Thursday. So yes, things are going very well. Hope it wasn't TMI.
Well, very good. I'm glad everything's working out.
Thank you.
And so once those huge projects and we get the codification done, man, you guys are gonna be in really good shape.
I hope so. And, you know, all those things that never were getting done are getting done now. For me, she also went through the W-9s. She did a massive mailing to she went through our vendors and inactivated vendors that were old, so that we're only working with a list of vendors that are current. And then she went through our W-9s, and any that we didn't have, she did a mass mailing to Quest. She also did a mailing to work on our outstanding checks. We created I don't want to say program, we created a policy where we're going to, because some of them were really old, and I'm ashamed, but
Outstanding checks to who? Vendors?
people that we've paid that never cashed their check.
But like, you mean like employees, or what are you talking about?
Vendors, people that received back when we had a utility deposit. At the end, when they left, the deposit would go toward their last bill. And back then, a lot of times was more than the full bill, so we would create a check and mail them the difference. And instead of just refunding the deposit and then receiving a payment. And there were some that were like $1.50, $2, $5. And the rules changed because I inherited some of those, and I thought that they had to go through the Illinois State Comptroller for the unclaimed property. And that is true once back then it was 7 years and they reduced it, and now they've also created a $50 minimum.
Oh.
So I don't
know
have to
that.
do, it's a lot of red tape, we won't have to do it for the $1.50s and stuff. But ultimately, we'd like to contact the people and resolve it before we would have to get special software so that we can download that to the comptroller. It's kind of complicated, but.
I seriously can't just walk away from $150 credits and just call it done?
No, we have to,
I mean, we're spending more than $150 to get to them at this point.
we have to do a level of due diligence where we try our best to contact the people, and if it's $50 or over, if we can't reach them, then we have to give it to the
That I
state.
get, but the under 50 is kind of ridiculous, especially if we're talking $1.50.
We reached out, she did a letter campaign, and now we have a policy where anything 60 days or older will get a letter and will be on it faster. She's received some replies. Some of them were vendors that we use today that just, it must have been lost in the mail and they didn't invoice us again, or I don't know. It's-
So we have a log of outstanding checks that go back a decade or more.
Yes.
How many checks are on this?
The ones that are that old, like maybe a dozen or 15 or something like that. There's one, I mean, some of them are people that I know. So I know that we're going to resolve it, this year. But those are things, there just was no time to do all of that before.
And we're sure none of those checks were ever cashed, because they go on a log when they're 30 days stale from a bank or something, but
Right.
did they eventually get cashed or?
No, I'm positive.
And so are we gonna, just lost for word, basically write them a new check?
Yes,
Because they have no idea what this check is from 12 years ago, I assume.
correct.
And how many dollars is this in total? Do you have any idea? Are we talking $50?
Reissue the check.
One of the checks is for $6,000.
What?
It's to a developer who was paid recapture fees that never cashed the check. That's someone that I know, but, one of them's $2,500, and those are the two biggies. The rest of them are kind of chump change.
Wouldn't that be nice to, just like, yeah, it's a $6,000 check, it's all right.
Yeah.
It's not worth taking a picture of it. Anyway.
So we're working. And it's been great.
I love
And this might fall under this, did anyone see the email I sent today about the IDOR?
it. I see there is an email about IDOR, and I put it as to keep as new, because I was gonna read it later. But would you like us to
Some
look at
online
it?
training, but that's all I caught, yeah.
It's just a sort of a seminar about taxes and how we receive them and what they all mean. And I thought, if you're interested, it might be nice, but they're doing a recording, which I don't think they've ever done that before. So, that could be, remember when you
Yes,
did
yeah,
in?
yep, it was like my first, I had like joined the board like the next month.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're gonna record it, I'll just listen to the recording, I don't know if I want to take half my workday, but.
I'm
So we
act-
will have access, if somebody attends, we'll have access to the recording.
Yes, and they said they'll send it out after, so.
Okay.
I might be able to go to that one. I'll just be back from Army.
And I'm sure that's first thing on your list.
Here we go, let's do it. But we'll talk as we get closer. All right, so now, because I went to the email, I lost the agenda, and it was the credit cards.
Yep, February and March.
And that was all on the one fancy new statement.
We just received the credit card bill for March, so it hasn't been processed.
Okay, there was a couple that were March dates on there, so I was like, I just didn't spend a lot. Everything looks fine to me.
I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. Chad's been using his card more.
We had a lot of trainings, the conferences and things over the last couple of months that he had to keep going back and forth. We're down in, oh man, I know you don't care where it was, but it was the place with the ginormous cross. It's,
Rio de Janeiro?
no, it's about that size though. It's down south. It's south of Chambana, Effingham.
Oh. I think my conference might be there this year.
Oh, it's a beautiful drive if you like corn.
Yeah.
If you don't like corn, it's nothing to see.
Hey,
4 hours down.
my daughter went to Western. I know about the corn driving.
Oh, yes. All right, moving on to letter E, software upgrades. The transition to the postcard bill. From the
So
postcard bill, excuse me.
I've made several inquiries over the past 2 weeks, and even today, I sent an email and I said, I have a meeting at 5:30. Is there anything you can tell me? And she said she has not received any information back from the coders for any of that things. The $1.25, the bill from Postcard to Big, or the bill display on the website. Kelly had talked to, I don't know who it was someone that she's working with, and she told them we're waiting on this website, and they said they've had other clients working with Tyler and they're years out as well. So they said that Tyler purchased another company and they've been overwhelmed with doing both, I guess. And I was like, well, at least it's not just us, not that it's comfort. I'd really like to get this going, that also contributes to the length of time it takes me to reconcile the accounts, the credit card. One thing that happened, somehow, and
I was gonna ask.
the
think
way
this is your
Kelly
answer.
explained to me,
Yeah,
there was some pop-up when they were doing the billing this time that was something about email.
Yep, I got one, and that was I asked Julie the other night because, so I received the email and it says like that I could set it up for automatic payments and everything, but the $1.25 was on there before you even chose how you wanted to pay it. It says it came from no reply at municipality online, Village of Winnebago, pay now, and then, I hit like the pay now thing and it popped up over here, come on. But essentially it says my bill's like $72 here. And then it says municipality online payment fee, $1.25 total, $73.69. And then, I was gonna ask, because I saw on the Winnebago Facebook page, it must not just be me that got the email.
no,
Because
I think Brett
yeah,
Waller
and
said
then,
something.
they were like, did anybody else get this email? And they're like, well, you can still do the old thing and not have to pay the $1.25 fee,
Right.
like people were just, and I was like, oh, and then it was like, I checked my email, I was like, oh, I have one too, but I can't believe it got to my right email address, like.
They have no explanation for what that was. And,
Because it didn't come to like my village, it came to like my own personal
Mhm.
email, and I was
There
like,
was, yeah, no, it went out to almost everybody.
What day did it go out? Cause I was just.
It was
The great thing about it
for the Public Works meeting.
was that many people paid using it.
And paid the $1.50 or whatever it is?
Yeah.
$1.25.
$3.28, Julie, is when I received it.
I'm already in there paying.
Yeah, that makes sense, 'cause I
I'm
was
paying
thinking of the Public Works
$1.25 3 times, for our rental properties too, but, so that's probably why I didn't get it, because I'm already enrolled.
Oh, see, I got the email saying that you paid your bill. But yes, because I'm already.
So,
Which-
I guess I should ask,
Automatic enroll.
should I just pay it the old way, or should I pay it the new way,
You should probably just pay it the old way,
so that I save the $1.25?
and, yeah, save the $1.25, because it's not helping our village at all.
Okay.
And the village will, I think based on some of that response, we're doing the right thing by eating it here at the village.
Now, the other side, even if we do eat it, which we've discussed, which is the next item there, it will charge you, and you know this, it charges you twice. It charges you the bill, and then it's a separate credit card transaction to charge you the $1.25. So even if we reimburse them and give a $1.25 off discount, they're still going to get charged twice, and while they would end up paying the same in the end, we have to explain that to everyone.
Really?
Otherwise, yes.
I'm already confused, what?
So I swipe my card to pick my electric bill, right, or my water bill, excuse me, and it has my bill and then the $1.25 for my total. It'll transaction twice, I'll pay my bill and then it'll swipe it again
It's
for
because it goes
$1.25.
to 2 different places.
Yes,
So you'll pay a core bill and then the fee.
correct,
So
But
that
the-
125, once it's removed,
but they will still see it. Because unless we can go into the system and not charge them, period, what we're really doing is here's your bill, your core bill, we're gonna deduct $1.25, so you get a discount.
But you're
But
still
you-
gonna pay the $1.25 because there's no way to.
Correct, so the customer will still save $1.25, but they're going to
we'll
get charged
find out
twice.
if we can get that
Oh, I see
removed.
what you're saying, so the actual bill will go down $1.25, not.
But then they're
Correct.
still gonna get a transaction fee
Yes.
for $1.25.
But who gets that transaction fee? The,
Tyler Technologies
because they deserve it, right?
will be soon. I'll find out, because maybe that'll just go away and we'll just get a monthly.
Well, that would make more sense, it'd be just like, yes, it'd be just like with taxes,
And then
right?
what's,
Well, they pay all us and then we owe somebody else something, we just write them a check at the end. That would be better for everyone. And we wouldn't pay the credit card transaction fee twice, because you swiped it once for the core bill, swiped it again for the $1.25.
and so how is the credit card fee, not the $1.25, but then you have a credit card fee on top of that, correct?
Yes, but that's on, I don't know that end, that would be on.
Is that a visible, transparent charge?
Not to us, the
It's not being
consumer.
charged to the consumer right now.
So we absorb it?
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about absorbing the credit card fee and the $1.25?
Right now,
Well,
didn't
right now
you
it's
say-
set up that way,
Yeah.
but we can have change. I was just waiting for the board to vote on doing that.
I thought you were gonna say if we were gonna do a debit card without the, right, like or not or you put in your banking
ACH,
information, ACH.
Right.
Then you shouldn't get dinged with a fee, because
Correct.
there's no credit card fee, but if you wanna use your credit card, then
that
the
fee
consumer,
is-
that fee should go to the person choosing to like get the points off of it or whatever, because you
Yes.
should be able to put in your banking information to do that. So we talked about
eating the $1.25.
eating the $1.25, but not the credit card fee.
So if you don't wanna put your bank account number, but you put your debit card number, is that considered a credit card with a credit card fee or not, you know?
Not usually.
Yeah.
I'm not sure
Because I know
about
the bank
that.
is telling us now not to put your bank account number out everywhere and to just use a debit card everywhere, because you're more protected.
Hmm.
So, I mean, sometimes debit cards get a transaction fee, sometimes they don't, I don't know.
I think in this case, it probably will. Because there's, they call it an e-check, which is putting in your banking information. I probably have a statistic of all the things. I can get after the meeting and we can look at it, but,
Did we vote at the board level about the credit card fees?
We haven't had yet. We were waiting until we wanted to go live with it to everyone, which apparently we've decided to do that now.
Unbeknownst to us.
Yes, and then we were going to take it's been proven, it works, got the bugs worked out, let's come before the board, hey guys, this is what's going on, it's all working now, this is what we would like to do, let's vote. But we were waiting until then, because otherwise it was a moot point.
So right now, it did go out and people paid with either credit card or they put in their ACH information or their bank account information or whatever.
Yep. And many did, and I wish I could remember how many, but, if,
The unfortunate thing is then those that used a credit card that didn't see a fee will see a fee.
No,
They'll see
well,
the
eventually,
credit card fee.
not until we transition to this new thing, yes.
Yeah.
But right now, if it takes us another 6 months before we go live,
But isn't that what we did, in essence? Isn't that with Drew's email?
Yeah, did we?
Still, in
Yes.
essence, go live?
I don't think it went to
every single person.
everyone, I think it was just a handful of people.
Yeah, and I don't know how it's so weird because I don't know how they link my email with my house because it's like, you know what I mean? Like, how did they choose that email, like, over any other one? You know, like, I don't, because normally Michelle pays the,
Have you gotten any permits?
I'm gonna take this one over.
Because there may, if they had your email for a permit, that might have been how it got put in the system.
oh, here? Oh, you know what? It was when the roof was done.
Oh.
When we had all the hail damage, I'm sure that was probably the email address that I used for the permit a couple of years ago.
I will bet that's where it came from.
Well, and half the town got new roofs, like.
More than half.
Yeah. So that makes sense okay, because I was like, how did that figure out to link link that to my address, so.
Yes. And that was also another disappointing thing with Tyler. We're still hanging with the building permits. We have, we're basically ready to go, except the person who, I sat through one training and it was a disaster, and Kelly and the ladies up front sat through another one. And this person that's doing the coding, she's doing the training, and every time she goes to show something, she'll say, oh, wait, and then she'll go and she'll fix it and come back and say, oh, and then you push that, oh, wait. And that was like the most frustrating 30 minutes I ever sat through. And I was like, obviously she's not done. And then she did the same thing basically with Kelly. And so.
Is Tyler Technologies, there's no alternative? Or is that who we bought all this software from?
That's who we bought all this software from.
And we've spent what, $20,000 or something, $18,000, I mean, we've spent so much money to get this up and.
And are
Yes.
we are paying them some kind of a monthly fee too?
We're paying them an annual maintenance fee.
Maybe not
And
this
then
year.
they'll be getting the $1.25 for all the transactions.
Yeah, we talked about elevating this with having Frank or Mary call them, right? If we're not getting progress made. Maybe we're there,
Yeah,
especially with that email. I mean, that wasn't a, oops, I pushed this button and I shouldn't have type thing in the training or anything, was it?
I don't think so. And that person is training for the permits, not the utility billing. So, yeah, it was definitely bizarre. And Chris and Sue have been doing billing now they started in 21. They've been working there they've been up there a while, so, I don't think they oopsed anything. I mean,
Yeah. Well, I don't know, what do you think, Jeremy, is it time to get Frank and or Mary involved in trying to expedite this?
yes,
type of
only because
technology?
we're, like she said, we're paying them a maintenance fee, a yearly maintenance fee. Correct. I mean, do you remember off the top of your head how much it is, Sally? Like, is it like a couple $1,000 or something like that? And why are we paying them a maintenance fee when they're not even,
We're not even able to get it
Yeah.
up and running.
it's, I think that it's time to involve them, because this is a joke. You know, like, it's a joke for you guys up front to try to, I mean, we're trying to get things streamlined, but we're not getting anywhere, and especially if they're this far behind and you said like other people are saying, oh, you know, with the same tech, you know, with the same group. I mean, it'll be November and you'll still be dealing with this, and then they're gonna take, what, $2,500 from us for maintenance, and they haven't even got the thing up and going, like,
Correct, we talked about this a few months ago as well. So, yes.
I think, I'll talk to Frank and see if he wants, like Kelly and I can put together some bullet points for either a letter or an email or something that, because then it can be in writing.
Mm-hmm.
And if he wants it to go to Mary, we'll do it that way.
Is Tyler Technologies a big company?
Yes.
But we're probably one of their littler customers, so that's always a challenge.
Well, and there are a few government places, you know, Unicode that are doing our codification and website. They're one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But there aren't very many, so they have low competition. It sounds like they bought out another company, so there's less now. But I also think it could be just the climate of what's going on with not enough employees and people quitting or whatever the latest term is.
but what is the saying? The squeaky wheel gets the grease or whatever, like, you know, and then like, if they, you know.
We start sending you.
The name of the company they bought? Rapid Financial Solutions. Rapid Financial Solutions.
Well, maybe they bought them out to be able to take the technology.
The leading provider of reliable, scalable, and secure payments with best-in-class card issuance and digital disbursement capabilities.
I just think that if we don't do something soon, or at least
We need to start.
rattle the cage a little bit,
Nothing's gonna happen.
nothing's gonna happen. In 6 months from now, you'll be sitting here having the same conversation, and, you know.
I agree with you, and I think if we can start telling them we're unhappy and leave a trail of unhappy letters, then that could lead to, I don't know if we would sue them or just ask them for a reduction or whatever it is, we need a history.
At least give us some information, you know, I'm just reading this, it says, through this acquisition, Tyler will offer Rapid's payments platform to local, state, and federal government clients to enhance their payments disbursement process and improve the timeliness and accuracy of their transactions with their consumers. So I wonder if they're trying to integrate this and everything else is kind of on pause.
Right.
And again, communicate. Tell us what the heck's going on, saying, you know, in 6 months, you're gonna have a better product, and can you be patient?
And give us a realistic timeframe,
Yeah.
like, you know, like, is this a 3-month thing, a 6-month thing, you know, sort of thing? Because when they're coming to you and telling you, we have no information, that's not good enough. I don't know.
I agree.
When we've paid as much money as we've paid them, like, you gotta at least be open and honest about what's going on.
I'm with you. So that'll be one of my action things. I'll talk to Frank.
The other action item then, there's those. What are we? What are we gonna do about the people who've already paid with the live site? Are we going to send out something to tell them, hey, don't do this, or go ahead? How are we gonna find out who received them and? Which isn't necessarily an us committee type of thing, but just in general, of being a step, okay, so we told everybody on this side of Cunningham, and so now we tell them on that side, you know what I mean?
What's gonna happen next month is the question.
Yes. Do they send it the other half then? And
I wish I knew how many. Maybe I can text Kelly real quick.
Well, you're just talking about in concept, what should we be thinking of doing? Do we pay people, you say pay them back
I think
a
we should
quarter and have another
credit.
bunch of outstanding checks for $1 a quarter?
Well, we would just credit their account.
Or do we just leave it alone until,
That's
because,
what I'm kind of thinking.
because if we try to go back and do this and tell people, well, don't use this and go back, I mean, because people may have set up automatic bill pay and, once it goes live, we could always go back and, say, well, you paid 6 of these, $1.25, so now we're gonna knock off, $8 off your bill or whatever, because it shouldn't have been, charging you, but I think if we tell everybody disregard, then people are gonna be like, are gonna be more confused than if they've
correct.
just signed up and, I think it's a cross that bridge when we get there, but if people are already setting up like automatic payments here, then less headache for you to try to,
That's true,
and how do
and
you-
what if it does take 6 months and then we have this burden of, putting this credit on all of these accounts?
Yeah.
But
But that's why I
6
think
months.
that we start, we rattle the cage now to try to figure out, but you don't want people to scale away from using this site because hopefully sometime here in the near future, we want everybody to start using this site. So if we
Yes,
tell them, oh, they screwed up, people are gonna be like, well, I'm not using this site, and then I think we've got a bunch of, village residents that are like thinking, well, what the heck is,
yeah, they
is the
don't know what
village-
they're doing.
Yeah, they don't know what they're doing, and then then we're backpedaling, and it's
Mhm.
just 10 times more work for everybody here, so.
I think marketing is gonna be the biggest piece of this. But it does make me happy that so many people just went ahead and paid.
That shocks me, in this state of phishing emails and stuff.
Yes.
To push a pay here button, you at least had some knowledge
Yeah.
because you're a trustee.
Yeah, but
Correct.
but
That
even
was-
at that, I was like, is this for real? You know what I mean? Because we hadn't talked about that it was going live, so I was like, oh dear God, did we just, like, is this truly a real thing, or did somebody like hack into something, so that's why I didn't pay it, and I wanted to talk.
And
You
that
first.
email, I get those and they are very generic.
Yeah,
I don't know if we can get our official logo on there somehow or how we can make those better.
Probably in 2 years, we probably could get that.
we just send it in now, see what happens.
Okay, so you'll follow up with Frank?
Yes,
And our last discussion item is grant updates. Anything new on that front?
I know Nick is working on the camera grant and Julie probably knows more than me. Was that around 37,000?
Yes. Not 160, like was in the budget originally. So this year when this has been explained to me a couple times, when the grant came available this year, they had caps on different things, like they weren't gonna open it up to everything, storage was not included, and something else was not included, where before, everything was included. So we're not gonna get anywhere near 160, they're looking at now Motorola equipment again, because the Axiom was 160, and if we're getting 37, we're not spending 160 on cameras, so Motorola came in with a better price, but it's still not gonna cover 100% of it, so we'll wait and see if we get that, and then we have to make a tougher decision, because that eats into the budget and potentially out of those extra funds too.
Nick said that there is the possibility to pay over the course of multiple
You pay over
years.
5 years, that's true. So we budgeted 160, but we also budgeted 160 in revenue, so there will definitely be the mismatch.
Yeah.
So I think the quote was 90 grand over 5 years, so 90 divided by 5, and that's how much you pay, so a little under 20 a year.
Mhm.
So you'll get 37 this year, or you'll pay 22 or whatever, so you'll have an overage this year, but then you're on the hook for 4 more years.
Well, it's easier for budgeting too.
Okay.
But he did say something about, and I don't know if that's just with the payment plan or whatever, but there's some sort of, over that 5 years, if something goes wrong, they'll replace it, like it's
Like the
a good deal.
subscription type program.
Yeah,
And then in 5 years, you get a renewal that says for the next 5 years, you're gonna be paying $120 or something, you know, but it's a subscription, so if things break, you can replace, things like that.
So, I was unable to attend the, Public Works meeting. Did they talk about the geospatial grant?
I want to say it was still in progress.
Okay. That's what I thought. I think we're kind of
It's a holding pattern right now, yep.
in that whole thing, because it's a county thing.
All right, any new business? Hearing none, there is none need for executive session. So moving on to our next meeting. Now, Drew, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is your last finance meeting, is that true?
Yeah, Frank said I will be at the May meeting to,
Say goodbye.
well, and for anything that's, like voting, he said when it gets to new business, then everybody gets sworn in, that he's, and then he said that you will be done, so.
It's not too late. It's not too late.
On, meetings, I know it's gonna be just you and I for a while, I don't know if anyone else, it sounds like the only person, Frank has one person in mind, or he's been talking to, but they can't start till September, so they may swap that person for Mike, because Mike's really a short-term timer. So we still will have a vacancy there.
That is correct.
But are you at a point with your schedule where you could set up, I know we're trying to do this across every committee, like police is the last Wednesday of every month, always.
But
We do something like that, or?
we kind of did, and then we had to move one, had to move another one, and then we just gave up on it. Because I had it in my calendar. I think I actually finally deleted it, because it kept repeating. We could do.
I mean, if it's too hard, that's, I know you've got a lot going on.
Not until. Let's see.
Are you gonna be gone for a chunk of time in June, is that what you were saying, with armies?
I'm gone for a couple weeks, so I will miss the board meeting,
In June?
correct? And then the week prior. So was it 1 week prior we always wanted to have it? Or 2 weeks prior?
Finance?
Meetings in general.
I
think it's
won't
2 weeks
have-
prior.
I won't have the board packet done until the Wednesday before the board meeting. So, in May especially, because the first of the month is on a Monday, so that kind of makes it a sooner meeting. So if we did it before the board meeting, it would need to be the 4th. Or it could be the 3rd.
I can't do the 3rd, I can do the 4th.
I can do the 4th as long as you're done by 6:45.
Sounds good to me. So we'll go 5:30 on May 4th. Or, because 5:30 is for you, correct?
I could probably do 5:15, but whatever, you guys want to do.
We'll go 5:30. All right. So put that in your calendar as well, so that way when you decide you want to come back, it's, you're good to go.
5/4.
At 5:30. I suppose I read in this book thing. I don't know if anyone actually looks at this anymore, because we definitely didn't before we just made our plans.
Eventually, we're gonna have a calendar on the desktop.
It ends in March. I've got a calendar ends in March. All right, well, I'm not gonna be more concerned about it then, so. All right.
So Drew's not coming to that one? So,
Probably not.
okay. I was like, well, I'll get cake.
Oh, I suppose it'll be before the board meeting though. We'll see. All right, items that need to be included on the agenda for the next board meeting. We plan on meeting before then, so nothing really matters, but on top of that, I don't believe we have anything to bring.
I don't think so.
Well, in that case, item number 12. Can I have a motion for adjournment?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? All opposed?
Had to let you do it,
Yes.
had to let you do it, Drew.
at 6:20.
Where are you, Kristen?
All right,
Come on, come over. Over.